Hey, and welcome back to another race. Today we are racing in the Herds Racing Summer Series, one lap of Watopia Figiure. This is a 30k course with a bit of climbing, short lead in, and we can see that we're tackling the hilly loop and Zwift com. Alright, so we've got the two climbs there. One is a bit longer and not as sharp. The other one, the ZwiftCom, is okay, but 5%. Why is there always climbing in these races that I choose? Alright, so the D guys have just headed out. We've got a rider in the D group, Stephen Lloyd. It's good to see him getting back into it. We've also got Andrew Rudd joining us in C group here today. He's tucked away a little bit behind us there. So it's going to be great fun. So Andrew and Stephen are both wearing the same kit that I've got on, our training kit, which is the red and blue bike and beer kit. I've got the orange cap on as usual, and I'm on my blue Tron bike. Oh, hello. So I wasn't planning on doing this particular race. I was actually looking to race around the Champs-Élysées in a ZHQ crit race. So, however, due to shuffling some time constraints around, I've jumped into this one. A little bit longer than I'm hoping to do, and a bit more climbing. Well, it's been the way this week, hasn't it? I've been doing a bit of racing around on hills, and it certainly hasn't been doing me any favours, but every race is a step towards in the right direction, so just got to keep on it. Hopefully make those crit races, those flat crit races, easier to handle. So we're racing around Watopia today. And as I said, it's about, what did I say? What is it? 29.8 kilometers, or 18.5 miles for the imperialists amongst us. We've got 234 meters of climbing, as I said, on those two comms. So the Zwift com reverse and Zwift com. Now I'm not sure which one I like the better. I think the Zwift com is shorter and sharper, and you kind of get over it pretty quickly. But that's the second half of this race, so that's always a tricky thing. So they'll be about the 22k mark into the race. Okay. Just on the 1 minute 30 second mark. Got a number of races in today's race. 47 so far that have logged in. .48. So it's going to be a good field. Okay, fan goes on. And like every other time, every race that I do, I wait until the very first moment that you can jump into the event, and that locks you into that the best position you can get. anything like this helps. So being at the front certainly is something that's beneficial. You don't want to be joining the event at the last couple of minutes, because you'll be stuck at the back, and typically they'll be with people who riders who haven't raced that much or aren't interested in really competing hard, and you've got to fight your way through those races. So being at the front, give yourself every advantage. All right, 3 seconds, ramping up the power. Let's get going. So just waiting for the group to form, and I'm watching all of the riders down the bottom of the screen there and the distances that they are away from me. And I'm just sort of making sure that they're going to come around, so I can see they're starting to come in. Peterson sits. Yeah, they're coming around now. So we want to form that group pretty quickly and find some rhythm. And you can see from the map there that all those blue dots, if you're at the back of the pens, you're going to have to fight through all those riders to try and get to the front. And if you're having to do that in C grade, chances are you've already missed the race. Alright, so we turn left, we're going to come into the undersea tunnels. It's a nice flat section of the route. One that you sort of want to try and find some rhythm in pretty quickly. And as like the other races, pretty good, feeling pretty confident with the flat sections. It's where we hit the hills and sometimes the rollers that I still need to improve upon. So I'm certainly not hoping for a top, well, you always hope for a top 10 spot or greater, but the likelihood of me finishing the top 10 in this particular race aren't great odds. But that's okay, every race we get better. Alright, so a slight little downhill. Into the underwater tunnel, and then it's just flat here. Now we've got a solid, well, there's got to be what, 30 riders here in this front group, maybe 25. I'm looking around for Andrew, and I'm not spotting him in the list. But in looking at the race data before starting this, not too many B grade riders have snuck into this one, it looked like. But there are definitely some riders in here that have some really solid numbers. And a few that are bordering on B grade, as determined by ZwiftPower. But interestingly, we've also got a few D grade riders who are stepping up into C grade. So I hope they do well too. So again, much like the other races, we're looking to try and find some rhythm here. Stay at the front of the front pack, but not on the front. There's lots of riders here. A lot of the ATP guys are here. So yeah, there's certainly lots of depth. Short terms on the front, that's it. And then back to the front middle of the pack. Try and conserve as much power as possible. Try and keep that heart rate down for as long as I can. We haven't done very many races at all, we've heard. This turned out to be a pretty cool race. This was pretty fun. All right, so we've got a little incline here, just coming out from under the water. What are we looking at there? 3%. It's short, but those little climbs can, especially when you're in the red, can really knock you around a little bit. And we can see there from the graph on the map in the top right hand corner, again, we're stretching a little bit, so there'll be some riders there that aren't used to racing and climbing. I'm one of them. But I know that you've got to try and be on the front, and I know that I can try and recover pretty well without having to catch up. So being on the front, if you're not a good climber, is better than being on the back. The last thing you want to do is come out of the climb and stay in the red while you're chasing to get back on the grid. But no one's dropped and we're filming nicely, which is good. Over the boardwalk, and then we hit these little dirt trails. Well, I'm not a fan of these dirt trails, gosh. Like, strategically they're good. If you're at the back, surprisingly the graphics are quite good in terms of the dust that they kick up, and it can be difficult to see any breaks that happen. But if you're on the front, it doesn't really change too much, except for the fact that while you're in the dirt, you do slow down a bit. So we're doing 34 k's now on the boardwalk. We're doing 33 now. Yes, there we go, 32. The longer we stay on that dirt section, the slower it kind of tends to, the slower you go. Back in the boardwalk isn't great either, but it's slightly better than the dirt. So we're doing 35 here, and then as soon as we hit the road again, 37, 38, 39. We are climbing a little bit here, so we'll probably stick it around about 39, 38, yep. So a slight rise, sort of passing one of the degraders. Remember not to be complacent when you're passing a slower rider. You want to just kick a little bit just to make sure you get past them and you don't get sort of stuck in behind them. Alright, so still climbing here a little bit. Over the bridge. And we'll come around to the right. And we're sort of into these, they're not the S's, but the start of a little climb up. And you can see from the map there, that yellow dot coming down the bottom, that's that D-grade rider that we've passed, who sort of wasn't going to try and hook onto us at all. Now we come around, first hairpin, still reasonably flat here, 1% false flat. Heart rate sitting at 166, still not bad. A lot more work I think I need to do to get my average heart rate back down to the, well, under the 160s anyway in a typical race. And you see that I'm watching the live feed from ZwiftPower on who's the position of each of the riders, the sort of average power they're putting out, where people are positioned. So again, still that 1% incline. Now instead of turning left here, like you typically would, we now head, we're going to be heading into the start of the reverse Zwift com. So the first of the two climbs will be reaching very shortly, and you can see from the profile at the bottom of the map in the right hand corner there, where it begins to rise up. So heart rate's touching on 170. Definitely feeling it now, that's for sure. Trying to stay to the front though. As I said, that strategy when you're climbing, where you can, push to the front, even at the start of the climb, and try and hang into the front there as long as possible. It's just a lot easier than trying to fight to the front from the way back. So here's the start of the reverse com. So this is the slightly, was it the 2.8 kilometer, 2.8 kilometers, or was it at 2.5 kilometers at 1.8%. So nothing outrageous, but when you're racing, everything feels like it's in the red. And this, for me, is no different. Up on the pedals, just trying to push back up to the front. Just trying to stay in touch with them. But you can see the lines already, the C-Ray riders already stringing out along the map there. So yeah, look, yeah, I kind of expected this would happen. But keep pushing though, that's for sure. You don't get better by doing the slow races. Alright, so 2%, 1, so we did the false flat. And I spy some familiar kit up ahead there in the red and blue. There's Mr. Steve Lloyd. Alright. Tomeski or Tomeski. I think it's Victor. I'll try and sit on a little bit of a downhill here, try and get some rest. Recover a little bit. Heart rate's at 172. We'll slip back to 25th spot out of what, 54. Still no sign of Andrew Rutt. Pollock behind me there, and Sanchez. So we form a little bit of a group here. lots of red in that histogram at the bottom of the screen, that's for sure. Alright, heart rate still above 170. Still lots of red there. Sanchez coming past, so Tomeski, Pollock and Sanchez. Got a nice little group here. Nice little international group. Again, got a little bit of a downhill section right at the top of the climb as such. But we do have one final kick up here before we reach the banner. So 4 watts per kilo, 4.1. Pushing, but not losing an eyeball just yet. Okay, power up time. What do we get? Nothing! Oh, my power up luck continues. Okay, but that's okay. We're coming with downhill here. And, yep. So, want to look for that super tuck. Try and recover a little bit, sit in behind these guys, and I think Sanchez does as well. Yep. It's a nice downhill. Just free pedal down. And start pedaling before we hit the bridge here, the flat. Get the power back up. Heart rate still at 173. And we come around and bit of a left-hander up here, and then we're back through Watopia. Now there's a flat section just up here past the buildings, and then we go into a slight climb again. And Pollock's looking pretty strong here, I think. Alright, so we're all sort of swapping around that 25, 25th position. Alright, power up time. What we got? Give me something this time. Aero. Well, that's always a good thing. And we can see that we've got a couple of riders up ahead of us. Cotman and Wiedersehen. Looking to push them and close that gap. Heart rate's come down a bit, which is good. That's my B grade rider just there. And standard orange Zwift kit. Pollock's pulled up there for the weight power up. He'll be using that to great advantage, just sitting in behind my wheel. Hopefully get a little bit of a recovery there. Here he comes, yep. That's exactly how I would have used that. Alright, so Cotman's pulling ahead a little bit. Ederson. Trying to shut that gap down. Sanchez has fallen back a bit, 15 metres, and so is Tomaski. Or Tomaski. Now these are the rollers, the S's. So I end up doing lots of gear changes here. Just before you hit even though they're very short climbs, I want to try and keep my cadence up as high as I can. So I'll switch down gears, and then when we either going down or in the flat section, switch back up. So switch gears here, and switch down again. And you can sort of see my right shoulder is a bit lower than my left, and it's because I'm reaching for the gears and I'm changing the gears, and the guys have put us back up, which is good. Alright, so still got Cotman ahead of us. Might be able to catch him here. Slight climb. .3, 4.4. They were stringing me out. I don't know whether to keep doing more of them or just stop doing them altogether, because God. Whew. Alright, throwing the aero boost on. Downhill aero boost, trying to bridge that gap now to Cotman and Ederson. And I kind of shit past him a little bit. Didn't intend on doing that, but hey. And I think Pollock was looking for that sprint, the sprint jersey. And it's all yours, buddy. I wasn't going to fight you for that. So I'm down to this 21st spot on the sprint. No love to be had there, that's for sure. And we've got a new member to the group, Gordon. So I picked another power up, which is great, and that's the draft boost. So I'll be looking for a nice flat section here, nice long flat section or slightly downhill, and the draft boost only works, the power up only works when you're in a group where there's drafting, and it just improves your draftability, so you don't have to put as much power in to stay with the group. So you don't want to use it on an uphill, you don't want to use it when there's a bit of chopping and changing in the group, and of course you don't want to use it if you're on the front. So I think there's a nice spot just up here that I'm going to put that on. I'm going to cover a little bit, especially from these little climbs. They're not difficult, but I can just take it out of you. Pollock trying to push up the front there. There we go. Use the drafting boost. I'm just going to soft pedal here I don't want to accidentally push to the front because it just makes it worthless. Just going to sit at the back here, got a nice little downhill, nice long stretch. And you see my power's dropped now down to 1.22 watts per kilo. So again, nice little rest. And then back into it, 3.1, 2.9 watts per kilo. And so what I've seen is that the use of power-ups is just so key to racing. You know, obviously this is a feature of Zwift, not something you would normally get to experience out in the real world. But if everyone's got them, then you've really got to, you know, be strategic and think about it, how you use them when, and that can make all the difference sometimes. So Pollock's really pushed away now, 6-7 seconds in front. Not sure if he meant to do that or not, but because that came off the back of that sprint and he kind of didn't back off and rejoin the group, he just kept going. Alright, we've got another D grade rider just up here. Again, just want to be mindful, just keep a good watch, because it's so easy just to not pay attention, get stuck behind one of those guys, and then the rest of the group kind of, well, before you know it, they're 2 or 3 seconds ahead, and you've got to burn a couple of matches just to recapture the group. Thomas, you gave me a ride on, man. I didn't even notice. I felt really bad about not giving him a ride on back. And that's okay. I think I gave him one at the end of the ride. Alright, back to the marina here. So this is where we came back before, and we're essentially heading in the reverse direction from the start of the race. A little dirt section, back onto the boardwalk. Yeah, Thomas seems to be doing a good job on the front there. He's pulling away a little bit. Oh, sorry, or was that Gordon? Or it could be. No, it's Vidasen. And Cotman lost a little bit of time there from his 8 seconds he had in front of us. He's now only about, 2 or 3 seconds ahead. Out of the last boardwalk. And then we're going back in through the tunnel. This is only a short 3% decline, so yeah, don't try and free wheel it down here, that just won't work. Alright, so the group's still holding together pretty well. So Cotman is trying to catch Benton, and Richie and Jones just in that group ahead of us. Heart rate's still reasonably good, although it didn't feel like it at the time. And we've got roughly, what is it, about 10.5 kilometers left. We're about 2/3 of the way through. But we've still got the ZwiftCom to come, which is at 0.9 of a kilometre, 5% climb. I'm hoping I get a featherweight power up coming through the banner along the beachfront there in Watopia. That's really going to help if I can. Cotman must be burning matches. It feels like he's just can't get the group. Maybe he's just caught them now. Man, he must have done some significant work there to get to that group. That's a good effort. That's pretty big. Really got 12 seconds ahead of us. Here's that little climb out from under the tunnel, or out from the tunnel. As I mentioned earlier, not significant, but you know, when you're 2/3 of the way into a race and you just got to fight this little 3% climb, it's like, oh god, do we have to do this here? Okay, out of that. Back to flat. A little bit of red there. And the rest of the guys are sort of just, yeah, 5 or 10 metres behind, so there we are. Already regrouping. Thank God for that. Nine Ks to go. So we've already climbed 144 metres out of the 234 for the race. So another 90 metres coming up. And Vitasen just shot through, didn't he? 5-6 seconds ahead now. It's like, where did that come from? Alright, we're going to take a left here over the 360 bridge and then into the climb. And there's the mark on the right hand side of the road we're just about to pass now. There we go, boom. And that is the start of the climb. And Gordon is powering up to the front there. I'm on the pedals, 5%, 4%. Bit of a pinch around this corner here, 10, 11, 12%. And then we can start to see some of those B-grade riders that C-grade riders that we've been chasing on the map really coming into view now. And we'll have another hairpin just up here. So I'm trying to stay on the pedals, keep pushing with Vitasen, Pollock. Yeah, so Pollock really did a big hero turn then, and you know, we've caught him. So that's what I've been talking about. Staying in the group is a more effective way of racing, especially for these longer races, than it is trying to go off the front by yourself. And this is where my fitness is really showing here, because normally I should be able to keep on the gas as we come around this hairpin, because this is only a 900-meter climb. It isn't long. I know the banner is just up, just out of sight there, towards the right as we come around. So the Pollock's catching me. The Cotman's up ahead. And I'm watching Benton's power, so 3.8, 3.7 watts per kilo. We're similar. There's Cotman. I think this is just a D-grade rider. Heart rate's at 176. So really in the deep red here for me. But I know the banner is just up ahead. There it is. Oh, that's Cotman, sorry. Yep, there we go. And Gordon's there. Pollock. And that original group that we had at the start, we've sort of come back together again. All right, 7.3 kilometers left. So a D-grade rider here in the orange. Yeah. You notice that? How Cotman sort of got stuck behind him? It's not much, but when you're fighting for every watt you've got, having to fight past being slowed down and then fight past a slower rider is just, it's annoying. It looks like that D-grade rider is actually hanging on to us for a little bit. The map there. Now I've got a little bit of undulation here, and then we'll have a slight downhill, just a very slight uphill, and then a bit of a rest on the downward slope of the reverse column. Then we had Baldwin in the sort of the pinky orange gear come past. And this is that last little kick. Putting a bit of power down. And then just around the corner here, we'll start the descent. Which is just in time. Because I'm thinking about to vomit a little bit. Alright, trying to recover here. Get some rhythm back. And we're going to slide past this D-grade rider. Yeah, Baldwin just smashed through us. Back in the super tuck a little bit. Right, D-grade rider, is that J Moon? Yeah. I think he was lucky there that he caught us in the downward slope. Okay, just under 5 kilometers. Now, yeah, Baldwin, Benton, just up ahead there, so we've been able to catch them. They were out to about 18 seconds a bit earlier. So I don't know whether we've picked the pace up or they've come off the gas. Either way, still a good thing. Alright, land this left-hander. Small rise. So again, back into 4.2 watts per kilo, 4.4. Come around. Again, another slight little kick up here. There's a telly. I'll start to push here a little bit. This is weird because I thought I could catch these guys. You know, they're still putting out good power. I thought I had them. I thought I was close enough. And then the downhill hit us, and I went, oh, maybe not. And they're still putting out some good power down on the downhill. I'm trying to recover a little bit. And then we're going to hit the Italian villages just up here. I thought, no, I'm going to let them go, come off the gas a bit, and let the other guys I was riding with catch up and regroup. I kind of almost feel like shouting out to Benton to tell him to slow down and let me get on, but I guess that's not racing, is it? Okay, so 3 kilometers left. This is the final sprint. I'm definitely not sprinting here. I'm almost out of matches. And the other guys are just about to come past. Yeah, Gordon, I don't know if I would have used that arrow just then. Maybe trying to get back on, fair enough. And that kind of rocketed past me a little bit and went, oh, hang on. Gordon got a PR on that last sprint. I'm just on Benton. Oh, hang on, who's that? No, Zatelli, the D-grade rider we passed earlier. Back into the S's. I got my featherweight, awesome. And I'm using it. There's Cotman. Gordon just ahead in the ATP gear. Benton just ahead of him, and then Pollock and Ball went up ahead. Alright, 2Ks to go. Highlights are 173. Looks like it's just going to be Gould and I for the finish. Benton and Pollock have pushed forward, so I don't think I'm going to be able to reach them. Goulden's not letting go though, that's for sure. Final little rise there. For me, this is all about gear changing. Shift down here, slight shift up. 1 or 2, depending on how exhausted I'm feeling. Shift down again. Come up to the right. And we've got our final little descent back into Watopia. Less than a kilometre to go, we've got 800 metres. Now, I know Gordon and I, neither of us have power-ups. I think both of us know that. The 600 metres. I can see Copman's behind us, but I don't think he's going to reach us at 25 metres behind. I think he's left that a little bit too late. .400 metres. I'm watching Gordon really closely here. Watching the power. He's pushing past. There we go. Push, 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 push. I think Gordon was just out of gas. Yeah. There you have it. So, 21st in Zwift. Which is, yeah, it's not bad. Not for a 30k race, that's for sure. With a bit of climbing. Couldn't see Andrew there at all in that page, so wasn't too sure how far behind he was. Jump out of that, have a look at the finishing. So there I'm at 14th, 2.9 watts per kilo, average 240 watts. Not bad. I've had faster races, but the distance was the different thing here. So at 30 kilometres, that's always a trick. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next race.